Now, you raise a number of key issues there, and I think what they focus on and centre on is the complexity and network of different relationships which arise in the context of any major construction project. And I think at the core of that is the actual contractual link itself, the contracts which are in place, which allocate responsibilities between the parties. Here at Mayer Brown, we are advisors in relation to multiple major construction projects. And so we are used to and regularly have to deal with these sort of multi-party, multi-issue disputes surrounding construction projects which have gone wrong. For us, it's very, very important and always very key to focus on the contractual links between the parties.
Right. Now, the number that really startled us was about 6 out of 10 buildings, for example, in Nairobi, within the capital, are disaster waiting to happen. Now, we know this replicates across different countries, but just guide us through what studies you've done across. So we know Rwanda has been doing reforms on the same. Uganda is trying to revive a few things. Tanzania has their own issues back and forth. But what progress can we bank on?
Oh, well, yeah, this is another interesting point that you raise. As you say, across different countries within East Africa, these issues arise. Also very relevant, I say I'm based in London now. We're looking at very similar issues with regard to construction regulation and contractual liability here in relation to, as I'm sure you're aware, the Grenfell Tower issue. So these issues arise all over the world, all over the construction sector, wherever they may arise. The key thing really is the importance that regulation be up to date and reflective of current construction practice, and also that there be clear enforcement mechanisms to ensure that they're followed.
Right now, just you've indulged in an assessment period. Guide us through some of the compliance issues you've noted.
Well, I think some of the compliance issues surround materials, and particularly how materials, when integrated into a design, interact with one another. What we often see is materials and construction practices which are safe in themselves, which actually lead to issues and potential danger and liability or lack of suitability when used in conjunction with other materials, or when put together in a manner which is not safe. That's what regulations have to foresee and have to deal with.
Now, of course, when we were trying to get the context of conversation, there was one particular point that we were to mention, the most popular routes getting into the East African market for players within the construction sector. But one of the most popular has been the under-the-table corruption bit within the construction sector. That's where we see a lot failing, and the stats that I've just mentioned before, the number of buildings that are set to fail. But guide us through the popular routes that are above the table.
Oh, well, certainly, and that's certainly what I prefer to focus on. For my clients, which tend to be global consultancies, construction practices, major contractors, what they very much need and are concerned when entering markets such as those in East Africa, where there really are terrific opportunities, is to understand how to navigate local markets and local regulations. And the route to market that we see as most popular is a joint venture with a local partner.
Right, a final point, the politicking around Kenya, for example. Let's focus on Kenya. How much of that has either hampered or helped your case trying to assess or advise on contracts within the construction sector?
Well, I think certainly there is what we found with Kenya, but in other jurisdictions as well, is the uncertainty which arises during election time, particularly when there's a close-run election and there are matters such as the annulling of the election result and so on, which we've seen in the past. That for international contractors creates concern about the legislative landscape. It creates concern about enforcement and where the future will lie, and that leads to a drawing back of investment. So for all those reasons, what we see, and I think potentially holds things up, is the change. But when stability is restored, given the opportunities that are there and are recognised internationally, we often see, and I think we'll continue to see, investors and contractors flooding back to take advantage of those opportunities.
Maybe just in about 20 seconds, let's just get a view on Tanzania. For example, the GDP from construction reached an all-time high last year, at least the end of the last quarter. So in regards to us reassessing some of the contracts, of course, some things can be done more efficiently, but why fix something that's not broken?
Well, I think that's exactly what you hit on there. It's how to do things more efficiently. What's very, very clear in Tanzania is although there's a booming sector and there's lots of activity going on, there's a dire need for more. There's need for infrastructure, there's need for housing, there's need for water, which runs ahead. Those needs run ahead and are driven by the growth of population, the growth in the economy, etc. So I think every sector should be looking at how to do things more efficiently and not settling with what we've got at the moment, but looking how to continuously improve.
Right, many thanks, Sarkodie. Kwadwo Sarkodie, partner at Meyer Brown.